Hey, Sam.
Hey, Jen.
What are you listening to this week? Welcome to season 6 of What Are You Listening To? The weekly podcast created to foster community through music by sharing the stories behind the songs that soundtrack our lives. Some of the songs are old, some new, all good. I'm Jenn Tully, and this week I'm joined by Sam Abousalbi. As you know, Sam is the co founder of the Super Awesome Mix podcasting network, co host of the Super Awesome Mix podcast, and creator and host of the Super Awesome You podcast. Sam is joining me for the season 6 finale, and we're taking the show back to its original format and discussing 4 songs that we currently have on repeat. As always, 2 are Sam's picks and 2 are mine. Which songs do you think we're going to discuss? Tune into our conversation to find out. With that, let's get started. Sam, I'm so excited to have you back. We always have a good conversation, and I love too that we really are kind of dialing it back to old school, original incarnation format of the show where there's no real theme, there's nothing, in particular, no special particular artist that we're discussing. We really are just talking about 4 songs that we have had on constant repeat lately.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me close out your season. It's always a pleasure to join you in your studio and talk about some music that I've got on repeat without, again, in my world with Matt, I always have to have a theme to kind of fit these into. But here I can be
Right.
like, this is just what I'm jamming to. So it's a lot of fun.
Yes, and I loved your picks this week. I feel like this is a strong way to end the season. This 4-song playlist is maybe one of the best that this season has had, I think.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, these are really good picks from both of us, if I may say so
Yeah,
myself.
I think so. I think so. Well, tell me about your first pick.
Sure. So, the first one is the song "Let Forever Be" by the Chemical Brothers, and specifically, I've been listening to that whole album, "Surrender."
So good.
It's so good, and more broadly, okay. So some backstory here. Let me take it back a little bit.
Let's do that.
Um, every year seems to be there. I have like almost like a theme of music or a genre of music I just lock into. And this year, for whatever reason, it's been electronic. I don't know why, but it's like my brain is just glommed on to electronic music, and it's as you'll hear in this mix, it's a kind of a mix of older stuff like this album from the Chemical Brothers, and
Yeah.
newer things like the other song that we're going to cover. But I just like can't get enough. But this album, Chemical Brothers, it's just so good. I mean, in this song in particular, a little fun thing that I learned literally today is that this is Liam Gallagher, right? Or Noel? Is it Noel or Liam?
Noel.
It's
No.
Noel. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Noel Gallagher providing the vocals on this track, which is amazing. But I've always loved this. I love the lyrics of this song. I love how it feels. Like I think he does a great job. Like I've always felt drawn to the singer of this song. So now it makes total sense that he's a Gallagher brother,
Exactly.
because they have great voices. He's got a great voice. So yeah, I've just been obsessed with Chemical Brothers. I've also been listening to like Prodigy, some old drum and bass. I've also been listening to Crystal Method. I mean, just like real late 90s, like peak, kind of intro to electronic music that was just blossoming at that point. And yeah, this one in particular has been on repeat out of all of them.
For sure. And you're taking me back. I talk a lot about music taking me to a certain time and place. And all of the bands you just mentioned, and this song specifically, do that for me. Like, it takes me back to LA. It was before I was married, before I had kids. I was working. I had a good friend that worked for Herb magazine at the time, URB. And so they were covering a lot of this emerging electronic music. A lot of it was coming out of LA. And so, yeah, just being surrounded by this just takes me back to such fun times, such a carefree point in my life. And like you said, I think this song does a great job at that. Immediately, I can close my eyes and I'm either, at a party with friends and somebody's like turning this track up, or I'm driving in my car, like on a beautiful day in California, and I have this one blasting on the radio. Like, it's very much time and place music for me. And you know how much I love that. So I was so happy to revisit this. And this was an album that I listened to so much that I literally ruined the CD. I had to get a new one.
I love it.
I listen to it all the time. I love the Surrender album, and as you mentioned, definitely we get the Noel Gallagher collab, which for anybody that does not know, it's from Noel Gallagher is one of the brothers from Oasis, and what Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, is that his new incarnation? We'll see how long those Gallagher brothers can keep it together for this Oasis reunion
Right.
tour.
Yeah.
But I, like you, I'm a huge fan, and so I love this song. I love it vocally. I love the music, everything. And this album, again, is Surrender from 1999. Another great song, if you're not familiar with this album, is I love the song Asleep from Day, that Hope Sandoval from Mazzy Star collabs with him on. So if you're a Mazzy Star fan, which I was a huge Mazzy Star fan, that's another great song from this album. I think the other thing too is the video. Can we talk about the video for Let Forever Be? Have you seen it?
I have not. I need to go watch it now.
Yeah. It's a crazy, it was like a Michelle Gondry directed music video, and it's this like kooky, very strange, like kind of Spike Jones before Spike Jones, or around the same time
Sure.
that he was coming out with some of that wacky stuff. This video is definitely worth a watch. Yeah, if you've not seen the video for Let Forever Be by Chemical Brothers, also go check that out.
I definitely will. That's awesome. I'm just remembering, I think the last time this happened where I brought a song on the mix and didn't see the music video that apparently was really well known was the Fat Boy Slim song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. And I watched that video and just love it. Absolutely love it, with Christopher Walken dancing. It's a classic. So I'm excited. I'll check it out right after this recording.
Yes. Check this one out too. I think you'll like it. Different, but like still equally cool. And I think that was such a cool thing too about this time in electronic music, is a lot of them were collabing, right? To almost create this like visual art space that went along with the music that made it so fun, like at clubs or dancing or, wherever we were when we were out. Like sometimes the video would be projected on the wall in the club, like while they're playing the song. Like it just felt, and like you've got to go back to 1999, right? 26 years ago. Now so many things are immersive, but back then it really wasn't. It was kind of a new feeling to be like, I mean, I guess there was like the psychedelic stuff in the 60s, where you see all that, but this really felt like a complete coming together. I think back then sometimes it was like disparate images playing with music that like a club promoter thought was cool, whereas in this instance, in this particular time, like people were collabing that liked each other, that liked each other's visual style and liked each other's music, and were putting pieces together that were specifically designed to go together. So yes, definitely check out the music video.
The 90s. What a magical time.
What a magical time. Oh boy. From the 1900s.
Exactly.
Yikes. Well, before I start feeling too old, please tell me about your second pick, Sam.
Yes, let's go to this year, 2025. This one just came out, and it is With a Smile by vocals of Maiah Manser. It's actually her song that they've remixed, and the two DJs are What So Not and Synergy. And so I stumbled upon this one because, again, I've been on an EDM track mix kind of kick for this whole year. And Instagram very quickly figured that out because that's what it does. And so it's just been feeding me all these like music festival videos and live concert performances of DJs mixing and all that kind of stuff. And I saw her perform this song on stage in a video, and it was unbelievable. I mean, the fact that like she can produce these vocals even in a studio setting is amazing. For her to do it live is unreal. Absolutely unreal. It's so cool. I watched that video like 1,500 times just on repeat. And I was introduced to this term now that I really love called siren core. Like that's kind of the genre. Because I think it's perfect, right? She just has that kind of haunting, like, note that you can hold a really long time. Every time I play this song just as like a single song, so like, in Spotify or Apple Music will fill in music afterwards. Like it'll just pick like, here's what we think you're going to listen to. It always follows up with a Florence and the Machine song. Which I think is perfect, right? Like there's another amazing vocalist who has that kind of ability to drag notes out in a very haunting, powerful way. Like she's amazing at that, as you know. I know you're a huge Florence fan.
Yeah, both fans, yes.
So I love that. I love this song for that reason, but again, I just love the beat of this one. Like, I played this for my wife, and she basically just wanted to start dancing, and that's exactly what happens to me. I just start bopping to it. It's hard not to. It just has this really high energy, like, get you going sound to it. So that's been a lot of fun to listen to.
So good. Well, and I was curious, that was one of the very first things I wrote on my list of like notes about the song is this was an artist I was not familiar with, and like one of those that I was blown away. Like, how did I not know this artist? This song is so good. And then I kind of like went down a rabbit hole with some of her other music and albums. So that was how I was going to ask you, how did you find this? Like, was this algorithm served, or did you just like stumble across it? Like, how did you come upon this? So I'm glad that you shared that story. That was one of my first questions about it. And then the second thing that I wrote, you also said, is the song is just so haunting in the beginning. You know, it starts
Yes.
off and I loved it. It had me immediately. And then it goes full dance mode, like you
Yeah.
said, like where you just cannot like sit still when you're listening to it. And then I got like entranced too by all of the different versions of it. You know, she has a cinematic mix, and then there's a slowed down mix. So there are lots of different ways to listen to it as well. And I found myself being equally intrigued by all of them. But that was my question for you too. Why have you heard the other mixes? Like, did you choose the streamer dub above the other mixes because you liked it better, or have you heard any of the other mixes? Why Dreamer dub?
Yeah, I think I like this one just because it has that kind of heavier bass, like drum sound to it, which I just love. I think I've certainly shared on the Super Awesome Mix show, and probably here. I am just a huge bass head, so like I'm the person who literally is googling for headphones that I want to be drowned out in bass with. You know, like all these other audio files are like, oh, the bass is too heavy and it drowns out the notes. I'm like, those are the headphones I'm going to buy. That sounds great. That's what I want. Um, so
You're like, I'm
yeah,
not happy unless it's rattling my organs. Like I have
basically, yeah,
to.
basically. And I was the kid in high school with like the giant subwoofers in the back that would like every
Yes.
time that they would hit, like the lights in the car would dim because it would draw too much power away from the rest of the car. I was really obnoxious as a child. I'm so sorry to everyone I drove past back then.
I love that.
But so I think that's why I really love this mix. But I similar to you started to dig into her work and like listen to one of her most recent albums, and it's so good. Like, she's just got an amazing voice. And I also really love when a track like this can be remixed a million ways,
Yep.
and it changes the feel and the mood and how you experience it. So and I think a big part of that again is just having a really strong vocal to begin with. Like, you can put that anywhere and it's just going to sound great over and over again. So I love that.
Yeah, and she does. Like every time you listen to a different song of hers, I was just immediately like entranced by her voice. So I do love Siren Core because that
Yes.
it sucks you in, it lures you in, and you're just like in it. Like I said, with all the different versions, it almost feels like you're getting three songs in one. You know, like you can listen and feel like you're getting lots of different things, yet it still feels familiar and comforting because you know that original version, at least for me. I don't know why, but it feels like, you know, there's something familiar yet new there when you get these different remixes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely this is another one I'm gonna go. Well, and also too, you mentioned them, but What So Not and Synergy, the DJs that remixed this particular mix, I also kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole and tried to find more of their stuff as well. I love that when you can find, you know, a DJ or somebody that you like that remixes songs in a really great way.
Yes. Yeah.
That's also, I think, such a skill and so interesting. And I feel like a bold move, right? To take a song that's this beautiful with these amazing lyrics and then make it kind of, I mean, hardcore, definitely hardcore electronic. Like that's a
Yeah.
bold move. Like I think that's got to be a skill to know how to mix that in just the right way so that the hard and soft blend together as well as they do.
Yeah. That's like the other thing that has been popping up in my Instagram feed is like how people have put certain songs together, like how DJs or even like, I mentioned Prodigy earlier in the recording, like how they came up with some of their most iconic tracks. And it's just a bunch of samples. And it's like, how do their brains work this way? Because they pull like 20 different sounds and they'll, shrink some of them, they'll elongate other ones, they'll just take a millisecond of a sound and then just stack and stack and stack and stack. And this was like well before, computers could layer all of these things in a single interface, right? So they're literally layering these things on top of each
Yeah.
other with these giant recording studios. And I'm in awe that like their brains can hear these things, pull them all together, and then produce like a work of musical art. It is
Same.
awesome. Yeah, it's incredible.
I agree. I think it's such a unique skill. And even knowing like what songs are going to sound good together, like
Yes.
what samples will go with what, that just seems like, and it's weird. It seems like it'd be something I'd be good at. I listen to so much different music. And like, I think about like putting an outfit together, right? I love fashion. I love mixing clothes in that way. But it just seems like I would not ever think to put certain things together that do and end up really working well. Like again, a shout out to the DJs of the world. Like it's a skill set that I find just magical.
Well, I have two thoughts. One, I'm here to support you whenever you want to rebrand yourself as DJ Jenn. We're going to be there to
Yes.
show your work. Two, there's I think some DJs that do funny bits like this where they're like, you hired the worst DJ for your wedding or something, and they will purposefully put two songs together that are so bad. And it just cracks me up.
Maybe that's what I could do. I could
Right.
pick like the two songs that would never ever go together. And I think that seems like something I would be much better suited for than actually making it sound good. Well, as we transition out of your picks and into mine, I'm going to kick it off with a new artist for me. This is another one that, like, same thing. They've been on constant repeat. I went down a rabbit hole and just got sucked into all of their music. But my first pick this week is a song called Death and Romance by Magdalena Bay. And this was from their Imaginal Disc album from August of last year. And I just think that this song is so cool. Like, I mentioned this in the open, but I love it when we get to go back to just sort of tell me about what you're listening to, like what you have on literal repeat this week. And this band and this song in particular is one of those for me. I just love it. I love the intro to this song. This is another one where I love her voice. I think her voice is so beautiful. And this is a duo, Micah Tenenbaum and Matthew Lewin, who apparently are friends from high school. And they write and produce together to form Magdalena Bay, have just been like, again, constant repeat. And I think that this is the album that this is on, again, came out late last year, but there's something reminiscent about like 80s music to me. Like, I
Yes.
don't, did you get that at all? I know
That
like
was
80s.
my first note. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm like, I
Yeah.
know it's a polarizing subject for you at sometimes, but
Yes.
this
Very
one, like,
triggering.
I said the 80s. I said the wrong decade, the bad decade. But this, I don't know what it is about it, but I just get 80s vibes from it. And so you know that I'm already in love once I hear, like, you had me at 80s vibes.
No, absolutely. I wrote that it felt like a throwback track. I pinned it as like either 80s or like early 90s even, right? Where like it
Okay.
kind of was a blend between the two and they were still shifting sounds and stuff.
Yep.
But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Like I was just again bopping along to this song. And I love the play on like all's fair in love and war, and this one is like kind of all's fair in death and romance. I think that
Yep.
those are to replace love and war with death and romance, I just feel so much more visceral. I like it a lot more.
I did too. And, that was another note I made about this song is like lyrically, it's really strong because it
Yeah.
does, you go from, nothing is fair in death and romance. Like that's sort of like the overarching theme. But then it goes into like almost poetry, with this verse that says, Monday through an echo feels like heaven, feels like heartache. You run streetlights like halos as the rain falls. Are we too far? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Like
So
now
good.
you've got me intrigued, right? Like I just think again, like a song that is lyrically strong is always going to have my attention. And this one delivers as well as most of their music. I have to say they are strong lyricists. Like they're definitely a band worth listening to with the lyrics on, which I wonder if I often wonder, I'm like, am I the only person that does this? Like I have to go through and read every word of the song.
No, I've started doing that. I use like the little feature in the apps, that will
Yeah.
show you like what, yeah, and I love that. I find that it actually, it has me experience a song much different, like much more different than if I was just listening to it. if for no other reason because it makes me be more present with a song because
Yeah.
I'm literally trying to like listen to what's being sung and everything versus where my default is like I'm listening to music while I'm doing 100 other things. I'm guilty of that sometimes, most of the time. So
Yeah.
I really like it. It's like having captioning on for life.
Yeah, totally. Well, and then I feel like I'm like it's like you said, like I'm dialed in and then trying to figure out what the artist's intent might have been by a
Right.
certain lyric. Like it just engages me in a different way than just audibly. Like then I'm like my brain is working and I'm like creatively I'm thinking of stories in my
Yeah.
head and all of the other things. Like other senses get engaged besides just listening to it.
But let me
S
ask you this if you don't mind.
Of
Have you
course.
ever done that with a song that you love, but then when you read the lyrics, you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't read them?
100 times,
Okay.
yes. Most of the songs from the '80s, Sammer. Like, that's whenever, it happens the most, like, I'll go back.
Right.
I guested, sometimes I'll guest on the 1001 Album Complaints podcast, and
Yeah.
they had me on one episode for, Def Leppard's Hysteria album, and, like, going back and revisiting those lyrics, I was like, "Oh, no, those should have stayed in my junior high brain without
Right.
me ever knowing what they were actually saying." So, yes.
Yeah, I think that might be a great mix for the three of us to do with Matt. Like lyrics I regret looking into, or something
Oh,
like songs with
yeah.
lyrics I regret learning.
Wish I'd just kept it in my head the way that it was.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm. Well, again, like speaking of strong lyrics and stories and being transported away, I'm closing out today's playlist with a song that I have been obsessed with and an artist that I have been obsessed with ever since I discovered them a few months ago. This is a song that like it's infiltrated almost every playlist I make these days. I've sent it to 1,000 people. I'm that girl that like gets obsessed with a song and then sends it to everybody that I know that I think might like it. And this is a song called Breathe Like Animals by David O'Dowda. David O'Dowda was a new artist for me, as I mentioned, and I just can't get enough. I think he's been around for about 10 years making music, but I'm just now discovering him, which is also strange. He's an Irish composer, songwriter, and multi instrumentalist. I believe he's living in England now, but he is of Irish descent. And so, again, it was strange that I'd not stumbled upon him before, but now that I have, I just cannot get enough. All of his music is like really moody and cool with interesting lyrics. There's another track. There's a song called People We Don't Know that I almost chose. It was between that song and this song, but I just think this song is so different and interesting that I had to go with this one. Tell me what you thought of this song. Was this a new artist for you? Was this a song you were familiar with?
Yeah, this one was totally new in every regard, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I'm obsessed with it. I've listened to it like 100 times since you sent it to
Yay.
me. I thought, like, my first thought when I heard it was almost like Bon Iver and Glass Animals like had a song
Mm.
together. Like
Yes, that's such a I love a good comparison. That's
yeah.
perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, that like it was just he's got that kind of moodiness to the vocals, but then the sound has that like weirdness, like that groovy weirdness. And I don't know how to describe Glass Animals sometimes, but they just have it's like a psychedelic sound. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's so addicting. It immediately pulls me into the track, and I've like I said, I've listened to it on repeat. It's a song you can put on repeat, and like you don't get tired of it just looping back over and over again because it just sounds so good. The lyrics also, I like one of the ones I really like. They just have this, I don't know, they make you just like question them. My favorite one is we won't make our humility, but we make our own brake lights. And I really like that. We make our own brake lights. To me, that I don't know. I wonder if I took that as like we slow ourselves down, right? Like
Yeah.
we often kind of stand in our way, and but the way he says that is just so much better than how I could say it. So I really like that.
It's so funny that you called out that lyric because another lyric that I love from a totally different song is a 21 Pilot song called Shy Away. And he talks
Mhm.
about manifest a ceiling. And when I heard this, I was like, oh, this is like the new version for me of like manifest a ceiling. Like, you don't ever want to do that, right? Like, you don't want
Right.
to put on, you don't want to manifest a ceiling. You want to manifest open sky. You don't want to put on the brake lights. You want to like go for it. Don't get in your own way. So it's really, I love that you called that lyric out specifically, because that's what I immediately like thought of whenever I first heard this song. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what this reminds me of. And I feel like you also said this too, but the song just brings me into it. Like
Yes.
I'm not just listening, I'm in it and I'm creating a story, and it's short. It's like a 2-minute song.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 minutes and 7 seconds, which is rare. That feels like a really short song, but every time I get transported away, like it's like being sucked into like a good book or a movie. Like this song does it for me every time.
Yeah, there's definitely songs, I've been wanting to put this mix together for a while actually, where I just wish they lasted like 10 times longer, like if they could just do a version that was like 15 minutes, I would listen to every minute of that, and I would put this on that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Turn it into like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, when they went from like a
Right.
already like 3-hour movie to like 4.5. You're like, oh, we
Exactly.
definitely needed that extra hour and a half. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I
I
want
mean,
of this song.
obviously, yeah.
But
That's
also
awesome.
too, if you like this one, definitely go back and look for People We Don't Know.
Okay.
That song is also, so like I said, it's different. It's more upbeat than this song. This one's definitely a little more down tempo, but I think it's so cool. I've sent it. This has probably been my most shared song with people so far this year, because
Nice.
when I discovered it, I was like, I'm in love with this song. It's so good. And all of his music is a vibe. So definitely, the Lines in the Trees album is what this is from. It's like, I think it's a 5-song EP, I want to say. And the whole thing is great. So yes, definitely check out David O'Dowda. But again, I said it when we first kicked off the show. I think that this is a really strong playlist to close the season with. So I'm so grateful that you joined me, Sam.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was, a lot of fun as always.
As always. Well, thank you for joining me, listeners. Thank you for listening. This is, like I said, the last episode of the season, but don't worry, we'll have some summer programming out there for you. We'll pull some great shows from past seasons, some deep tracks that we have from artists, extended conversations that didn't make it to the air. So definitely keep us on over the summer. And then I will be back with season 7 of What Are You Listening To in September. Also, while this show's on break, definitely check out Sam's podcast. You can find him here on the Super Awesome Mix Network with me, and you can search for Super Awesome Mix and or Super Awesome You wherever you stream. Those are 2 of the shows that Sam's currently hosting. So check those out as well. And as always, be sure to follow, download, and share our shows. And if you love listening, drop us a review on Apple or Spotify. And last but not least, to stay informed on all things Super Awesome Mix and What Are You Listening To, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Super Awesome Mix. Thanks for listening, and please join me again next season to find your new favorite song.